But thank you, James. Commissioner Zylstra.
Yeah, just trying to go through this first page that was just handed out. We've had a lot of discussion about the coordinator position. It says here the Ottawa County staff member in charge of Ottawa Food, Sierra Schutz, is still employed with the county and more than capable of continuing her role with Ottawa Food. I think there's some discrepancy in that. And I wonder if Lisa can kind of respond to that, because my understanding is that health education does not have the budget to support her. So therefore she is with the county, but not able to do her work with Ottawa Food as coordinator. So I think, you know, one of the things we talked about on September 6th was to make sure that there's funding into the health education budget to specifically be able to support her role.
Also, at that time, we didn't know the amounts either.
But we have those amounts now.
Well, but we didn't know them then.
Okay, but we have them now. So I mean, we can discuss her role right now.
We do have them. Do you know if those amounts have been sent to the finance committee to be considered or anything like that?
The amounts to support
That Commissioner Zylstra is talking about?
the information was sent to Administrator Gibbs and I believe earlier, well, actually it was the end of last week. And those numbers that he was speaking to as far as Sierra's position, we were very fortunately able to keep her employed as a health educator, but she's no longer working in health education. She's working in environmental health. So he's correct that it's not accurate that she has the capacity to fill those duties right now, because it's grant funding that is keeping her. I just want to make that really clear, because I know there are a lot of people paying attention to these meetings, and she is working under grant funding around food safety in our environmental health department. So while there may be a small overlap, she definitely does not have the capacity right now to coordinate out of food.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sure.
Commissioner Zylstra.
Could we just have a motion then to put that to the finance committee? I know there's a lot of back and forth as whether it was, whether it isn't, whether it could have been, but why don't we just?
I'm sure that the chair of the finance committee will be taking it up, and there's hopefully going to be a lot of ongoing discussion this week. Could we go to
Just
Commissioner Cosby?
questions, and I'm kind of a broken record with these questions, but how long has Ottawa Food Program actually been in existence?
We started officially in 2011.
2011. And what in the intended purpose of the program, I'm hearing a community convener. What is
The focus of Ottawa Food overall,
Yes.
Reducing hunger, reducing food insecurity, supporting local growers, and providing health and nutrition education to community members.
okay? And do you know how many community members you serve annually with this program?
I can give you just for fiscal year 23, 350 low-income seniors were reached, 800 migrant farm workers and their families were reached with food distribution, 480 community members through our Real Food Can Connect Us cultural cooking classes, 7,500 of our resource guides distributed throughout the community, providing information for people in need about food pantries and food distributions and things like that. Over 100 community members educated through our interactive cooking demonstrations and nutrition education. Over 1,000 families instructed, interacted at our tabling events. So receiving nutrition education, recipes, resource awareness, and 120 families served through the Holland Middle School Greenhouse Partnership with Ottawa Food. And then this doesn't necessarily mean families or households, but to just share some of the impact. In fiscal year 23, 1 million pounds of food, excuse me, were rescued through the Lakeshore Food Rescue Program. 22,000 pounds of produce and food were gleaned from the farmers markets in Grand Haven, Spring Lake, and Holland, distributed to area food pantries. 4,000 pounds of produce were purchased from local farmers to be distributed through food pantries across the county using grant funds. Over 2,000 pounds of produce were donated through the produce donation program at farmers markets and also distributed to local pantries. And 3,000 pounds of produce were donated through Pick for Pantries in 2022. And at the time of this report, the data wasn't yet available for fiscal year 23. So some of it's people served, some of it's more pounds of food distributed.
So, and that's with your community partners, correct?
Yeah, that's Ottawa Food.
Ottawa
So
Foods,
all the
correct.
partners.
So it's not with the FTEs you currently have budgeted for Ottawa Food at the health department.
This was what
That
took
you're-
place in 23 with the director or the coordinator, I would say. You know, without having a coordinator, most of those programs don't exist close to that level.
And so do you know total FTEs that you have? In what
For
those-
Ottawa Food,
Ottawa Food.
0.9 FTE,
FTE.
one person.
And so that's, because I have down here that we have 3 employees.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, we have another staff person that helped with programming, promotion, some of the running around things that happen with programs like that are countywide, as well as a clerk. But at this point, we don't have either of them. We can't support those positions at our current funding level.
So you don't have a manager or supervisor for the program currently?
For health education or for Ottawa Food?
Ottawa Food.
For Ottawa Food, the only position, I mean, I'm the manager for a department, so I oversee that health educator. But in terms of a person directly doing the programming and like when we talk about a coordinator position, it was just the 0.9 that we no longer have.
And so there's no way that you can support current education needs with the staffing that you have.
One of the things we're looking at for our current health educator, who is a 0.6 FTE, the one person that we do have in health ed right now, it's something that we're going to go back and visit in January, once Ottawa Food starts meeting again as well, or once the board has had time to meet to look at, and again, I just don't know, right? Are they going to decide to run with one program next year and all the partners try to take a piece of that? Or is each partner going to try to do their own thing? So we're going to take a look at how that 0.6 may be able to be helpful or instrumental in that work. But I wouldn't say it's going to be the majority of their work because that person is doing a lot of other health education related programming as well. And did I miss part of your question?
No,
Okay.
because this is a seasonal program. Would you say that's fair? Just
Ottawa Food?
Ottawa Food.
No, it's a year-long program. Some of the
Year-long,
initiatives,
But some of the initiatives are seasonal.
well, because so much of our work is around the local growing season and supporting local growers, it definitely picks up and is busier during the summer months here. But it's definitely a year-round program. I mean, addressing hunger and food insecurity never goes away. We don't stop working on that, as well as the planning for other programs. So meetings are in a typical year held quarterly for the full board, or for the full committee. And then the specific subcommittee is working on addressing hunger and supporting local growers, meet monthly throughout the year. That work doesn't change.
And so earlier you said that 70% of your partners have paused, given the budget reductions.
They
Is that
voted.
accurate?
They voted to take a pause as a group.
And so of the 38 organizations that we have listed here, that's like 26 to 27 of them. Is that fair?
I'm not exactly sure how many voted, because I didn't run the vote. The other board members did. I stayed out of that. And so, I don't know exactly how many took part in the vote, but I know that 70% of the members that voted to pause.
And none of those organizations would be able to provide the education needs that we're discussing today?
For the full county, no. I mean,
They
there
don't have educators?
are, I guess I can't speak for all of them, but we have met and had conversations and, I think everybody is willing to pitch in and do a little bit. I don't think any of these agencies or very few of them have specific roles around education.
Have you had an opportunity to take a look at the information that was just handed out?
No, that wasn't shared with me.
Okay. I think that might be,
I think I have a couple questions on that.
yeah.
It looks like there's a vendor service agreement contract with Community Action House, where for the year 2023, 2024, and 2025, perhaps beyond there, the county has allocated funding for 3 full-time staff members to help Ottawa Food and Food Rescue?
Are you
you
talking
awa-
about the
are you-
ARPA funds?
Yeah, are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay, but is that completely unrelated to Ottawa Food or what, or can you speak to that a little bit?
Those positions don't have anything to do with the coordination of Ottawa Food.
So the county gave, like, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, $500,000 for Ottawa Food, but not to help coordinate it.
It's not for Ottawa Food, it's for the Lakeshore Food Rescue Program, which Ottawa Food is a partner in.
But
But
it
that
literally,
funding does not directly provide any staff or oversight for Ottawa Food.
I mean, the ARPA documents say that the impact of this $468,000 will be for Ottawa Food. Right? Like that's how it was sold to the community. Ottawa Food and Community Action House will use this $468,000 to expand their programming, buy trucks and hire 3 additional staff.
Right, for food rescue. But it doesn't have anything to do with the day-to-day operation and coordination of a countywide, which is essentially a local food policy council. It's supporting one of our very important programs, but
Which is suspended or paused. So we gave them $468,000 for Ottawa Food and Food Rescue, but now it's paused. Is that right?
I don't believe the money was given for Ottawa Food.
Yeah,
I believe,
I'm reading it on my screen, ARPA County Initiatives, who, what, Ottawa Food.
okay, well, Ottawa Food, the coordination of Ottawa Food is not supplied or supported through that grant, is I guess what I can say to you. I don't think that program is being paused. In fact, I know it's not because it's run through Community Action House, which isn't Ottawa Food. We are a partner. So for example, we might not have partner agencies as engaged in that work anymore. I don't know. I can't speak for all of our partners, but I can say that the funding that Community Action House receives to do the Lakeshore Food Rescue work, which is an incredible, necessary program, none of that funding is to support the coordination and implementation of the Ottawa Food Program.
So even though that's one of the most critical parts of this program, it sounds like it's not critical enough to use that $468,000 to actually do it. Like the coordination of their program is not enough priority. So I don't know what they're going to be doing, but maybe we could find that out in the next week or so.
Well, Community Action House staff coordinates that program. It's not Ottawa Food. The paid staff through these ARPA funds are not Ottawa Food employees or staff, they're Community Action House employees. And I can say that when this funding was awarded and when Community Action House, wrote for these funds, I don't think any of us anticipated that this would be an issue in the future with Ottawa Food Coordinator funding being cut off. So I don't think this is anything that was thought about then. But again, I can say that the funding used in those positions, I mean, does that make sense? I mean, I do still have questions about that because that funding doesn't impact or affect anything that we do around the coordination of the program.
Yeah, let's go to Commissioner Rhodey.